A world nearly destroyed by a cataclysm, saved by the actions of heroes long gone. A world that has survived, recovered, and even thrived. This is the world of Tyr. Here, the descendants of those heroes and the other survivors of the cataclysm have built great nations, the 8 pillars that support the world. Nearly 1,500 years after the cataclysm, the world is one of relative calm. However, beneath this veneer of peace, great forces move. With every shift and shudder, they threaten to disrupt the delicate balance that keeps the pillars standing. Now, across the world, knowingly or not, people must become heroes, or the pillars will fall and Tyr will be no more. Join us as we follow some of those heroes and see their struggles to keep their world from destruction. Hello, we should be seen and heard, God willing. And welcome to Helpful Goat Presents Tier Moontree Isle. I was just looking up at the Twitch on a delay, so I was seeing the fade out of the laser effect Moontree City and almost said that, and then was like, wait, what? No, I didn't actually rename the campaign. Would have played merry hell with the YouTube listings. Okay, we are seen and heard. We have a poem. Joel has also confirmed. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. I see from the chat that people are generally doing alive. As I mentioned, this is Helpful Goat Presents Tier Moontree Isle D&D campaign, where we have some fun and get to explore the far future, as the trailer might have let you in on. Helpful Goat Gaming is a small independent game design and game content creation community. If you want to hang out with us and be part of that community and get to interact with us, go to movie nights with us, see Rachel make that face more in your dreams, haunting them. You can use !Discord to get a link to join our Discord. This is fine. As we specified before going live, we are professionals and we are going to get through this. That's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. !Discord gets you a link to join our Discord. You can also use !merch or !coffee, KO-FI, if you want to financially support the goats, help us do more of this, help us put on more programming, like our special month of Pride programming, our upcoming, because it's, July now, so I can say Halloween. Upcoming Halloween programming, where we do lots of specials, get to have lots of fun. Of course, we have our Fates of Rin stream, we have Tier, we have Saltmarsh, we have Spire. So all of that, helping us do more of that, helping us do... I'm not going to say do that better, do that more expensively, is a thing that you can support with a donation to Coffee, !KO-FI. And you can also get some fun Helpful Goat merch at !merch. Right now, we still have !donate set to the Trevor Project, one of our favorite causes. So if you would like to donate to support LGBTQ youth in America, we encourage you to do so. We also encourage you to take some time, read about the challenges that those communities face, and also to read about organizations in your particular area that work with these populations, and consider donating time, effort, partnerships, etc. To those organizations, because local charities do a ton of really amazing work, and often have a really hard time getting the kind of funding that a large national cat, kitty, yes, okay. Oh god, Jesus, the acceleration on that.
Look at those eyes.
Just sort of progressively more.
Me. Me. No struggles, just love.
And that's going on the quote.
In case you're newly acquainted to the tier streams, they're about 50% cats.
At some point, there may be a cat that appears over there. There's currently a cat's butt right there. Very good Rika Pupper may appear.
Stick your finger in it, Rachel. Jesus.
She's currently not here, wondering why I'm not doing anything. But if she appears, this is where it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, we are professionals.
God, it's fail. Okay, sorry.
We stream here, twitch.tv/helpfulgoat. You can follow us here for free and get notified whenever we go live. You can also subscribe to us. You can subscribe for free with Twitch Prime, which you have if you have Amazon Prime. And those helps out financially. We'd greatly appreciate that. You can also check out our YouTube archives over at YouTube and just look for Helpful Goat Gaming. And on our socials, we are at Helpful Goat. Chelsea has spotted that both cats were on your screen a moment ago, Rachel. Besides that, coming up next week on Wednesday, we will have the Goats of Saltmarsh as Rachel leads us through. It's been a lot. Let me just put it this way: it's the Ghosts of Saltmarsh by Wizards of the Coast, but absurdist. Like if you combined absurdism with like a Dali painting, it's kind of where you get with just a touch
Burritos and chips.
Yeah, with just a touch of sad velvet clown.
You guys have killed a number of lovers, so
Not our fault. It's not our fault that all of the bandits hire exclusively couples. On Thursday, we will have Spire, always amazing, and GM'd by Elise. And then on Friday, God's Energy Levels and Schedule Willing, we will have Goats and Dragons, The Fates of Rin, DM'd by Andy, featuring from this group, me playing Charity, and Rachel, who's been our guest star, Clem, for a few sessions.
and it should be the last time.
You've spoken
Finally,
it won't be
that.
true.
I
So-
know. I was told, do you want to come on for a couple episodes? And then
And that was what, back in August?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
So you can come check those out. That'll be Friday starting at 9 p.m. You can see our schedule down below if you're on Twitch. It's in the panel. And you can always, as always, get updates through our Twitter at HelpfulGoat and on the Discord. The most up-to-date news. I don't think I have anything else for this. Oh, there will be also one thing is there will be some upcoming announcements in the Discord and on our socials. Related to our new podcast feed that contains Dom and Dragons, us playing Dungeons and Dragons with Dominic Monaghan, which we did just about a year ago, and that was very, very fun. So stay tuned for those. And now, no further ado, I'm going to kick off introductions and then the recap and also Chelsea's poem. So as I mentioned, my name is Galway. I am the DM for tonight and the programmer director of Helpful Goat Gaming, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm going to turn it over to Chris.
We never start with me. Don't. Wow. I was like, wait, what? Hi, I'm Chris. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I play Spider Catch. Who was he, him, his, but now maybe moving to they, them, theirs. As last time he assimilated, right? Is that the right word? Assimilated? With the Nanodriders, who has been named Eliza. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And now I'm really confused because generally I get introduced as the power top, but now I get to introduce my power bottom as Rachel.
Well, hello.
I like that you get to introduce your power bottom as Rachel. Primary identity, power bottom.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. Hi, I'm Power Bottom, also known as Rachel. I go with she, her, hers pronouns. And I play Nero, who's definitely not having an existential crisis about killing people
Everything.
and or setting them on fire to cleanse them.
Oh, I
It's
think he's got a lot
complicated.
of clarity. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. And I don't remember if I already said this because I said a lot of words. He goes by he, him, his. And I'm gonna go to my directions.
If you point towards
This way.
yeah, I was like,
My-
you point towards the catcher, you get Sam.
My no less powerful but side piece, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm the side piece. Hi, everyone. I am Sam, and I play Dent, the Eldritch Knight, the enchanting suit of armor. And we all go by he, him, his. And I'm going to pass that way to my side piece, Heather.
Hi, I am Heather. I play Ressa. She's a dwarven cleric of the Forge. We both go by she, her, hers. And I'm all shivery tonight because Elise gets to be my power top.
Elise literally just typed the DM, God
Don't
forbid
say it,
Heather
don't
ever
say it.
introduces me as her power top. I'm sorry.
Now I have to say things that are
You do.
embarrassing.
Say it, Elise. I broke our confidence. I broke
You
your
broke our
confidence to force
It's
you to
nothing
say
to do
it.
with you, Heather, and everything to do with the fact that I can't contain myself to not be like, oh God, okay, we're not doing it. We're just, hi, my name is Elise. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm only a power top in fantasy worlds.
However, you are Elise So Dreamy.
I am Elise So Dreamy. Rachel made me do that. This was going to be just a private joke between us.
She said it right as I saw
I
the
know,
message.
it was so perfectly timed. It was amazing. I was like back channeling. Oh my God, the day that Heather introduces me as her power top is the day I say way too much about myself on this stream. Ooh, okay, hello. I play Minnow Rogue. She's a human rogue. And
So professional.
yes, her pronouns are she, her, hers as well. And you know what? Go away. Back to you.
And apparently to, steal a joke from Spire, tonight's Moontree stream sponsored by Power.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody's somebody's power something.
Yeah, power from all directions. Oh.
Okay, all
I
right.
regret saying that immediately.
Can I go to read Chelsea's poem now?
Please, God.
Oh, Sam, are you uncomfortable?
Chelsea must include power
Sam's a
tops
professional.
in her poem next time.
Yep, me, the professional. All right, okay. Moontree, Eliza, and Ed, the mind buddy systems, providing so many questions, theories, and much wisdom. This story, world, and moments within it continue to delight and intrigue with every minute. The Marauders have made it this far. They are going to pull through. Much love, tier crew. I can see and hear you. Yay!
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea. Also, thank you, Joel, for your comment of you love watching professional role-playing shows. Yep, that is definitely the experience that you have every time you tune in to Helpful Goat Programming. Professionalism.
Definitely role playing.
What the hell did you all get up to last time?
Oh, I already said in my intro, Spider Cat.
Spider Cat. Spider Cat.
Yeah, so it started off with us leaving where our combat ended us up from the previous session at a wise man's place. So we left there, got in a car, got tracked down by another car, and then all of a sudden the nano drider that we had previously just beat snot out of and exploded in fire.
Tried to make sure it was totally, completely, 100% really, really, really dead.
Yep. Came back, and then we almost got into another serious combat with it that would have definitely just ended poorly for it. But then I forget who started it. I think it was Ketch. It was Ketch that started hey, hold on a sec. Let's talk to the thing that we were trying to kill moments ago. And it worked out really well. Ketch became Spider Ketch, now has Eliza, the AI nano drider infused within him. And our session wrapped up with us getting to another safe haven where Dent told Nero and Ketch about the things that went on in his head when the previous mech tried to, get inside of his brain. And so now they're going to try to figure out what to do next. Nero also had some kind of internal trauma related to killing something that wasn't actually evil, maybe. But then
multiple times.
Don't worry, he
Yeah,
found a working
multiple-
solution though.
yeah, but fire equals pure. So, dirty, dirty, dirty. Seems like they would get along. Anyway, yeah, okay. That's
just
the
hear
end
that
of the
in Andy's
recap with
voice.
Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ketch and Dent should just let Minnow clean up that mess that we created with Nero deciding that he has righteous fire.
I will 100% say it's one of my favorite role-playing moments I've ever seen was Rachel playing Nero be like, so if I burn them, it burns away the evil and then they're fine and good. And watching simultaneously Chris embody Ketch the Fully going, yeah, let's pull that one back.
No, we got it. We figured it out.
A very important thing that happened last game is also that we got our online handles. Catches Fuzzy Balls 101.
Yep.
Dungeons Accident with a 3. Nero is Moss Giant 69. Dylan is Firm Hand 2379. Ressa, I don't think we actually ever decided on, or at least it didn't end up in my notes. I think we were like bouncing around some ideas.
Ressa is going to be Bionicles.
Okay,
Yes.
that was had come up. Okay, or something similar to that had come up.
Yeah.
And Minnow is Thick Halibut. With 2 T's.
Yeah.
The second T is so important.
Yeah, because with 1 T it's a fish.
So
Yes,
so is
2 T's,
Minnow
2
the
T's.
power? No, sorry.
So let's start it again.
Oh, and also in last session, prior to arguably becoming a cryptid, Ketch was having a DM conversation with the operator of the cryptid blog that he'd been watching, Zigzag, who was really very sorry, though very excited that you were, paying attention to his site, but very sorry that you maybe had possibly thought he was either a corp agent or a mirror chameleon.
Yes. We shall see.
Yeah. So I think that sums up pretty well what happened. You all got back to another safe house. Y'all were tired. It has been a couple of days that have just been a lot. And a thing that I've also realized I don't tend to do in my games, we actually tend to pick up right where we just were, thus explaining why 23 sessions of Moontree Isle has occupied like 6 days in game world. I was going to suggest, if that's okay, Wise Man will end up relocating to another facility once there's sort of another one found. They don't want to concentrate everything in one place. And you all are probably just going to take a couple of days to kind of rest and recuperate. It seems like you're not being followed, since so far the only thing that appeared to be able to successfully follow you all is now in Ketch's arm. And honestly, you can kind of just use the slow down, decompress, think about what you're doing next. Wise Man has a couple of things that she needs to take care of, and then she'll be back to sort of talk with you all about things. So one thing I did want to check in on is, assuming you had sort of a couple of days in this facility, are there any sort of cleanup, minor upkeep type things that you would like to take care of?
Would it be enough time to get proficiency training with guns?
Not fully enough time to get that, but you could have made progress on it. You're kind of almost you're not like in a warehouse, but you're out more in like one of the warehouse districts on the edge, so you do have enough room to be able to do that. And Asana is able to help you with that, so you're making pretty good progress.
even opened up my character sheet yet.
One thing that I would have definitely done is ask if Eliza can explain how they were following us.
Okay.
Like, how did they keep finding us?
So if you sort of ask Ketch to relay that, would you relay that request to Eliza? Ketch?
First off, we've been here for days, so that is complete full rest. We are back to full.
Yes. Also,
max
you have
HP.
You have completed a full
Fantastic.
rest. All of your resources reset for having completed long rest.
How did you phrase your question, Ressa?
Well, is it if Eliza's rested now? Could you maybe talk to her and see how how did she keep finding us? Because she just seemed to show up every time.
Yeah, that would definitely be on one of the items on my list to talk with Eliza about. Yeah.
As you sort of get that, and we'll say this is like after the day, the first day, so you've had your long rest, etc. You sort of all you get back in your mind is this sort of so it seems like Eliza is still down.
Knocked out. Okay. So yeah.
Slap yourself in the face. Try and.
Actually, is wait. So where? Okay. Because you mentioned, I was gonna say you mentioned my arm. So is it in my arm and I just can sense her in my head, or exactly what has happened to Ketch physically?
So physically, we're basically like the next day, and we're taking care of these things, and we'll hop to the next day. But so you've long rested after the day that we played in the last session. Your right arm, which is sort of where the symbiosis, however Ketch would want to term that, occurred, still feels warmer than usual and like slightly heavy. And you are kind of occasionally you look at it and you wonder if the fur along that arm always was quite that shiny. But when you spoke to Eliza, such as to name her Eliza, it certainly was thinking. Okay. You don't know if like the physical sensation is, speaking in modern terminology, if it's just psychosomatic, or like you're just, oh, this is where she was, so I'm focused there. Okay. Or if she's actually mostly located there, or what.
Gotcha. Okay. So then Ketch would just be like, dude, she's still sleeping. I don't think we're gonna get any answers yet.
Okay. I'd really love to know, because it's just weird the way she found us so fast.
Yeah, tell me about it. And she was always creepy about it. I definitely want to ask her about that too. Like, am I going to be creepy now? I mean, I don't understand how this works exactly. You will notice, like, especially like within those 24 hours, Ketch will be constantly kind of like checking his sides to see if like he's got another arm or anything coming out. His tail will be twitching quite a bit more than normal.
Ooh, I wonder if you can regenerate now. Like,
wait, can spiders regenerate? Oh, nanotriders can regenerate.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody cut my toe off. I can't do it. I can't do it because it'll hurt, and I know it's gonna hurt. But like, if you do it, it'll be a surprise.
Well, I can always, I guess, heal it back on again.
Yeah, like, and I don't need my pinky toe to like stand, right?
Oh, I don't know. This is probably not a good idea.
Minnow from like the other room is just like, no.
But I mean, like, what if? I mean, that could come in handy, Minnow. I mean, come on.
I mean, can you try something just like cutting your finger and seeing if it heals first, not just going for like dismemberment right off the bat?
Fine. And so, yeah, Ketch will. I'll cut like the pad of like his index finger on his right hand or left hand.
You take 1 point of damage and are bleeding.
And then
yeah, and then do like little mechanical spiders come out and mend it back together with ass that they shot out from their butt.
yeah.
What? That they
There's
shot
thick
out of
halibut.
their butt? Ass?
I got excited. Okay.
Ass they shot out of their butt.
I'm also trying to decide how acid, wherever it emerged from, would
Acid.
mend.
Okay.
Not just ass.
Yeah, mending acid. Everybody knows that.
Yes, come on. You know, like they,
chemically.
It's just
sure.
science.
I mean, come on. Okay, fine.
No,
You're
you just sort of sit there like drip, drip.
I'll suck it. I'll be like,
Asana's gonna sort of look over. Why is Ketch bleeding?
Oh, now's a great time actually to test the toe, and I'll get out my dagger.
What is happening?
I just catch. Are you ready?
It didn't work. It didn't work. You said to try small.
I know. And now there's nothing left but to try big.
Maybe she has to be awake. Hold on. Let's try it again tomorrow.
All right. I put the dagger away.
He's no longer as excited as he was.
Minnow pulls out handgun fresh from a round of practicing with Asana. Don't worry, guys. I got this.
We shoot your toe off? Okay.
Shot my pinky toe.
Given my track record with shooting, that's probably the most likely thing to happen.
No, give him a track record with shooting.
No, the most likely thing to happen is it would ricochet off of me and hit Ressa.
Yep. Fair point.
It's true.
Fair point.
Okay, the very first time that I shot a gun, it worked. Do you remember? It was the very that's why Minnow was so confident shooting it the second time and then shot Ressa with a natural
and
one.
then almost killed a party member. And I just love how we were going through that one, and it was just like, okay, you fumbled that. There isn't really a debate about how that fumble plays out, right? we know what this is. Anybody else want to do anything over sort of the course of this rest day? Sam, I know.
I have a couple questions. So one, how does Dent's appearance compare, like in his current mock-up mech form, compared to that of the mechs that attacked us / were from 4.0?
So not counting the Nano Drider, which was kind of a thing unto itself, you were about half the size of the mechs. They were probably about 12 feet tall. They were legitimately a large creature. They were much more sparsely designed than you or some of the other mechs that seem like maybe more like personal attendant or even like shopkeeper mechs. They were mostly very sort of not thin in the sense of very small, but just mechanical appendages that were attached to sort of a central hub. And then the sort of head shape was not at all sculpted like a humanoid head. It was very sort of angular, relatively thin. You could see a lot of exposed points of articulation. And then had the sort of one massive central eye. So you don't look a lot like those.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would it be possible during this downtime for me to put together an outer skin that Dent could wear that made him look like? That's a disguise.
Remember, we also need you to fix my sword.
Yes, I thought I did that already.
Let me give you a skin.
Just pasting skin over this suit of fucking armor. Just like,
well, no. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
that costume would have been a better word.
Okay, so just putting on a skin suit over the thing and just
making him look like a mech. Putting him inside of a mech shell.
Sounds very Silence of the Lambs,
right?
No, not Yeah, I was gonna say not a skin suit, more of a robotic babushka doll.
Yeah,
Yeah,
robotic
there you go.
babushka.
Then
Yeah.
could we open him up and see what other kind of robots are inside of him?
Well,
Or is he the smallest
Ed.
babushka?
Yeah.
There you go. Fair.
Galway, I don't know if that would be much more effective than the fact that I've already been modded to look like, a personal attendant. I don't know, like, I guess if we're trying to, like, stealth into Foro and disguise me as a, combatant mech, but I don't...
Yeah, that would be the utility if it would even be useful.
That would probably be hard. And like Asana at least could give you a little bit of perspective on that. To put this in above the table sort of terminology, that would be a bit like trying to disguise a car as a tank. Which it isn't even just the technical challenges of that. It's also that's a war machine. Like that doesn't fit in anywhere if you got it wrong and that thing wasn't supposed to be at that 4-0 location, they'd know super quick. You are currently probably much more capable of blending in as someone's bodyguard or attendant mech or any number of other relatively, humanoid creature size and styled mechs.
Okay. Good idea though. Speaking of Ed, my next two questions concern him. Really fast. One, over the course of this time, is New Common the only language that's kind of being spoken by people in the area, or could Ed have been focused on picking up another language?
New Common is certainly the most common. You haven't been around people all that much. This like newest safe house is, like I said, essentially like a warehouse district. So you're not really able to get that kind of passive listening in the same way. You have heard, remind me what languages you / Ed speak?
So Ed has Celestial Draconic Aquane. I didn't write Docent before New Common, but I think he's the one that knows New Common.
Yep, I believe so.
And then I, as Dent, just know Common.
Okay. He has heard a couple of times little snatches of Draconic that I'm trying to think of how to say this. As opposed to Common versus New Common being related but different languages, there do seem to be some variances in sort of pronunciation and grammar on the Draconic, but not enough that you would really call it New Draconic. He could understand it. It just sort of takes a second of like, wait, what? Oh, okay. So he has heard some of that. He hasn't heard any Celestial, so he doesn't have much to compare that to. You did hear a little bit of some other language. Does anyone here speak Undercommon? Don't think anyone does. Spoiler, it was Undercommon. And it was sort of a new Undercommon. But you've mostly actually heard New Common. It seems like everyone does that. And actually, as Ed has been learning it, and you all have been picking it up through the translation and abilities of the data ports that you have, you're able to communicate with a lot greater facility at this point. One of the things that Ed noticed is that New Common integrates a lot of words from other language bases. Like there's some Aquan in some phrases. So it is essentially a sort of polylingual mishmash language. One other thing that I realized I don't think I called out specifically, Wise Man spoke in common to you all. She clearly had to think about what she was saying at times, and that might have just been because she's careful with how she speaks. It also, as you sort of think back on it, might have been because she was trying to have to think about what she was saying. And she has, of course, worked with Asana for several years at this point.
So then the last thing, and this actually deals with Ketch/Eliza. I was wondering, even in this sort of state, while it looks like Eliza's mostly offline, is Ed at all able to interface with Eliza? And if so, can he kind of figure out what it is that she needs to kind of come back online, kind of deal? And obviously, I think Dent has, the whole motherload of questions, as, Ketch does. Dent has a lot of questions, too. But, yeah.
Ed will sort of come back like, sorry, buddy, my systems don't seem to be compatible. Whatever interfaces she has aren't the same as yours, and I was designed to work with you. Also, I'm pretty sure she's asleep. I hear a vague buzzing noise, and I just kind of assume that's her. Either that or your meat buddy just is constantly buzzing in his head.
I mean, he occasionally does purr, but I don't quite think that's what you're talking about.
I don't know. Meat noises. Very similar.
Okay.
Meat noises.
Meat noises.
All I can think of is like bacon sizzling. That's a meat noise to me.
Oh, I just thought of like wet lunch meat.
That's what I was thinking of.
Steaks.
I'm sorry.
Blurp.
I have a horrible brain.
How's Nero doing?
Well, so what is it? I was just waiting. So Nero over these couple of days is basically going to be like a 12-year-old discovering philosophy and ethics for the first time on the internet.
Suddenly quoting a lot of Nietzsche?
Yeah. So exactly. Just going to be doing a lot of internet searches. I was going to say Google, but I doubt it's Google and Tier.
Hey, the corps run the world, but there were some limits. Jesus. Give the Union of Governments some credit.
They're like, no, we don't allow Google. He is going to basically just be typing in such things and just like, because he doesn't know better, he's going to go probably 10 pages deep on each search result. So he's going to like type in like how to know if somebody is good and just read every single search result for like one page and then go to the next. So like 10 pages in where it's like some rando schmoes blog that has, whatever thing. And
you do end up over the course of this, as you're sort of distilling out the philosophical ethical traditions of Moontree City. A lot of utilitarianism, unsurprisingly. A lot of contractarianism, unsurprisingly. You also end up kind of consuming a lot of dating sites and trying to like give you advice on how to find a good match.
Nero accidentally signs up for like Tinder or something, and then
Fair. Yeah.
I hate myself for that, and I'm sorry.
Oh no, but you named it.
That was good.
Damn it. Oh, Sam's disappointed in me.
I don't know if disappointment's the right word.
Fair.
You do eventually start to sort out that like it feels like there's kind of like two high level camps sort of advice and results that you're getting, one of which you maybe slowly come to realize are dating sites, and the other of which are like philosophy blogs and things like this. And then within that camp, there's lots of other sort of little schools of philosophy and approaches to things. You do eventually also run across a philosophy blog run by Zigzag on the philosophy of cryptids. You're a little confused by that one. But you know,
I type in, the next thing I type in is Bigfoot evil? And then I read pages of that.
You have way fewer pages for
There will
that
be
one.
several entries from Zigzag. They're all from Zigzag.
I was going to say, all of the ones that fall in the philosophical camp are from Zigzag. There are still dating site results.
I also like to imagine that there's like a Bohemian Rhapsody that Nero finds with like, Mama just killed a man. Like, you're just like reading it like, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is how Nero spends his time, is just trying to, and then of course, like, in turn, as he learns things and reads them, he's going to walk up to everybody individually and just try and discuss these things with them. So he's just going to be like, I read on my data port today that goodness is defined by, and just try to have a conversation. But yeah.
As incidentally, Ketch, Nero comes up to you to have this conversation around is this cryptid evil. You will get a very excited DM from Zigzag reporting that he has another site that has gotten a sharp increase in traffic. And asking if you would be interested in contributing to cryptid ethics pages, because apparently that's where the market is hot right now.
Interesting. I would reply, give me a moment or two to think about that, but I do have another question for you about something, and I'll send that over in a bit.
Can I also like ask Asana about like parental oversight and then start like checking Nero's search history? And because now that Nero's like asked all these questions and is like saying all these things, Minno's very suspicious about what's going on.
To be like, does evil really exist? And
yeah, and just like start just like start kind of like reading some of the same things Nero is reading, but in like more of a I'm concerned for my friend might accidentally sign up for a cult way.
My brain almost thought you were going to say it more of in a I'm concerned for my son. Just
I'm concerned for my moss giant son.
Yeah. Now, has Nero searched for can evil be cleansed with fire?
That is an important question.
Yes, but it's going to be, dear internet, can evil be cleansed with fire, comma, and if so, do they become good and still live on, or do they die forever? Thank you very much.
Someone please
Love,
actually
Nero.
That whole letter and see what comes up. Except then, you know, the FBI will come for you, so don't.
I'm willing
to.
There's like, whatever.
I don't think that's going to be an
see my search
investigation
history.
that might be a recruiting letter that you're going to get at that point.
Also, in this time, Nero, if it seems like we're just going to be, you know, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, Nero is going to, like towards the end of the day, like when we're going to be going to sleep, if it seems like, you know, I haven't had to use this power for important means. When I go to bed, I will cast Speak with Plants, and I will check in on my nameless tree trim friend and see if they've come up with a name yet, and just have a nice discussion with them about how they're enjoying their time with Jebediah. Are they enjoying seeing the world some? Is there anything else they're interested in? Do they want me to call them something yet?
What? Let's see. Tree trim. What was Traer? Voice.
I know, right?
What voice did I do for Trim?
I was like, wait.
I'm like, I don't
ago.
even recall. Oh God, it was like the falsetto. Oh, because they were at the end of the line because you picked the smallest.
You're welcome, Galway.
Damn you! So
it's your fault. You enabled this.
So you cast the spell and you like set the
every night.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God there's only 2. So you set Trim on the sort of bedside table, and you cast the spell, and you sort of see the. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Hi.
Hi.
How have you been enjoying your time in my pocket?
The
Jebediah.
It's everywhere. Just all over the place.
That's nature. It's good for you.
Yep. Okay. I'll process that being good for me.
I can talk with Jebediah about trying to be cleaner. Would you like that?
It's not really clean. It's just climbing up and down me. It's just sort of licking the. I think it's the
eyeball.
Yeah, that.
So I can talk to Jebediah. Maybe we need to have. Do I need to draw a line in chalk down my pocket for you, and then you each stay on your own side?
Question for you. I think you said your name was Nero?
Yeah, great job.
How
What's
big
yours?
do you think the inside of your pocket is?
Oh, would you like a different pocket? I just thought you might want company, but if it's too much, I don't want you to be
I'm just
overwhelmed.
wondering how you think the chalk line is gonna work.
I mean, I could do it, and even if it's a small space, I could ask Jebediah to respect your wishes.
It's okay. It's an adjustment period. It's a little bit different than when I used to, sit motionless in front of a hotel.
I can take you back there. You said you
No,
wanted to
God!
go.
Not the trimming. Not the
Okay.
trimming.
Good. So we're making progress. How about tomorrow I spend my day shirtless making a larger pocket? Would that be helpful?
Nero needs the internet to tell him whether or not he's a good person. Yeah. You're muted, Sam.
Should make like a little backpack for him,
Like one of those cat backpacks.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
mesh windows and.
I won't stand out at all that way for sure.
No, not at all.
Have you come up with a name yet?
Not really.
Do you want me to give you some name suggestions and you can tell me what you like?
Sure, why not?
Hey, Susan, Bartholomew,
Matilda.
Bartholomew.
Fido,
Leaf Erickson.
Leaf Erickson, Jim, Jam,
Janine.
John,
John.
Bojangles.
The unnamed tree whose pronouns are tree trim learns about phonemes today on Moontree Isle.
What about
Root of the earth or something.
So far? Does one sound interesting and we could maybe workshop that?
You have Steve from the chat.
Yeah.
Hey.
Steve was actually the first name that came to mind, and I purposefully didn't fucking say it. So,
Because it's always Steve. Hello, cat.
Nut.
Please please suggest Rachel and Galway, please have Tree accept it.
For what? Steve?
Yeah, or the cat, the tree's name. Rachel. Oh my god.
Oh, brain working. Would you like to be named Rachel? Sam's face was pure horror. Like, just.
I mean, sure, we can go with that for now. I'll keep thinking about it.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. This
Rachel.
isn't be hard at all.
I am a DM of the people.
It's a very bland name, but if
Unfortunately,
you
my
like
people
it,
are all chaos goblins, so.
So now we've got me, Rachel, Plant Rachel, and Cat Rachel. So, good times.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Everything's
she's
fine.
down trying to bite my feet.
Nice. I mean, same. So,
That's the
all
power
right, Rachel.
in Power
So
Bottom.
tomorrow, I'm gonna make a bigger pocket for you and Jebediah to live together. I'll have a talk with Jebediah about being a good roommate. Are you getting enough sunshine and water?
What is sunshine?
It's what you eat.
Soil?
Well, it's part of what you eat. Some of the nutrients you get come from your roots in the soil, and the other parts come from the sky as they hit your leaf.
I've been in your pocket.
I open it and make space. Just open, I give you a little spritzing.
Jebediah is just straight over there as soon as you do.
Okay, I'll talk. So then I'll just look as soon as talk with plants ends. I'm gonna just speak. Not, I won't be able to hear him back, but I'm gonna just talk to Jebediah, and just say, Jebediah, your new roommate, right now, her name is Rachel, and you need to be nice to Trim. Say you climb all over. Trim, Tree. No, because I'm saying they.
Oh, but the
Tree says,
Yeah.
fine.
Tree says.
Fine. My brain is processing a lot.
it is a
Tree
lot.
So can you just be a bit more cognizant? I'll make a bigger pocket, but can you be a bit more cognizant and caring and make sure that they can get sun? Please. Thank you, Jebediah. And I'll catch a bug out of the air, like cool monk that I am. Just hold it out for Jebediah to.
You'll see Jebediah sort of pause. Hold it out towards the Rachel.
Tree. Oh,
Beautiful, beautiful. Everybody's growing. So then I'll spend day 2 ripping out my pocket and making a bigger patchwork pocket.
You now have a bigger patchwork pocket. Attention, Monty.
I was gonna say, should we tell that to Monty before they do the the artwork?
Patchwork pocket.
I'm sorry, that was literally 15 minutes of me searching the internet about good and talking to a fucking plant about their name, but it's fine. I really move the story along, so.
I encourage it, and it's fine. We will also
hearing how Tree is doing.
Rachel will report that the larger pocket at the end of the second day seems to have enough room, and Jebediah seems to be doing better.
My God, my brain was like, what'll I do?
I'm so happy.
I hate you, Elise, and I hate that I went along with it.
It's been like a hot minute, but are we like nearish the lake? Like, would it be like too risky for him to like
You actually
try to go fishing because
you actually are. You are on the sort of southwestern edge of Moontree Isle. Let me put you over to the city map for a second, and nope, can't do it over there because that's the player view. Like, why don't I have my page toolbar? Everything is awful. Thanks.
Also, another question I have, and you can answer this later, but is if we would have access to wise men at all during the course of this 2 days?
Not really over the course of this 2 days. On the second day, so after you'd... Okay. Let me clarify what has just happened in the various timelines. The conversation that Rachel just had with Rachel was on that first night. So after Eliza got onboarded, you just got to this new safe house. Had you already used Detect Magic that night, so you couldn't have done that. No, you hadn't spoken with plants, though. Separate ability. I gave you so many ways to talk to things. So that would have been that first night. The first sort of down rest day had most of the rest of the things that you all had talked about, and Nero just walking around shirtless most of the day, because he said so.
Well, I had to fix the pocket.
And then the summative conversation.
Mean like we get? I was just gonna ask, does that mean we got to see like the full extent of your scars, or are they just on your face?
Nope, they're down my whole left side. Yeah.
Medium rare cow, man.
You got to see all my burns.
Yay. So that was kind of then the full rest day, and that's where we'd be going out. You could, let me just make it so people can see this. Nope. Good job. Roll 20. You're good job, stream. You're making the wrong thing.
Keep it up.
Never mind. Not going to try to. It pulled the wrong roll 20 to window share. It pulled my DM's one, and getting it to switch over is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are down in the sort of the southwest peninsula of Tyr. So you're actually very close to one of these massive bridges that spans the thing that you took a boat to get to.
Yeah, I mean, I think then if Dent's able to have like a few hours to go fishing, I think that's probably what he's going to be doing, kind of using that to both clear his mind and also, think on, the things that the mech said to him and of the vision that he recently had with Ed, and you just kind of try to think things over, but not to get too much into it.
Something. Give me a D20 roll.
Do I have proficiency in fishing?
This is just a luck roll. With a 9 on a luck roll, you catch something. You're not sure if it's a fish. You begin to process the fact that the water here is not a very healthy color. Whatever you fished up has a lot of eyes. Just a lot of eyes.
The tastiest part of the fish.
That's fine.
How big is it?
About the size of like a adult human fist.
Oh.
The way that you said that really hurt my brain. Like, I was just, as you were saying, like, how big is the fish? You said adult. And I was like, okay, picturing an adult animal, human. Oh, an adult human fist. Oh, okay. It was just like, huh. So
is it at least like a cool bioluminescent fish, or is it just like maybe a fish with a lot of eyes?
So what I need you to do is picture a sea urchin, but the spines have been replaced by eyes.
No.
Actually, really cool.
Adult human fist size. The urchin covered in eyes.
Like roe is roe fish eggs, not fish eyes, right?
I like Matt's suggestion name, Blinky.
It's the fish from The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
Three-eyed fish.
I'm hoping
Well-
you would like search the internet for what this type of fish is.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think Dent's gonna do a good old catch and release on this because he doesn't know what to do with it. Yeah, okay. He at least fished up something, and that was his goal.
As you walk back towards the sort of safe house, taking sort of back streets, when you're almost there, and it's probably like a 5-minute walk, no more than that, you like are opening the door into the sort of the warehouse area where you suddenly go, wait, how did it take the bait?
Oh no. Where did you remove the hook from?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would have had to have taken the hook out. I thought it had. Did it not have a mouth?
Just sort of, you sort of got it up and then we're just sitting there. It was in your hand. Hook wasn't really in it anymore. You're not really sure what happened.
Dent just unleashed like an eldritch horror on us.
Can it live in my pocket?
I already caught and released.
Did you
Oh
tell
my
us about
god,
this?
the conversation with Rachel, if that was the case.
Are you gonna
Like,
tell
I'm
us about
sorry.
this? Because I'm just curious.
What was that?
Are you going to tell the group about catching this thing?
You know, I think, like, if anyone thinks he would mention I'm going out fishing, so like someone's probably gonna like ask, oh well, did you catch anything when I walk back with nothing?
Yeah, especially because like we've done fishing for food before, so like, oh, we can make fresh fish for dinner kind of thing.
Yeah, so like, you know, if anyone does ask, I feel like Dad's just gonna be like, you know, I've back on Moontree Isle and like, you know, Tormenrow and stuff, I got a lot of stairs, but they were all from different people. This was a lot of stairs, but it was from one thing that was like this big and it had like a billion eyes, and it didn't like attack me, but I felt like I didn't want to risk trying to make anything out of it, so I just put it back in the water.
Yeah, Minnow will get Finch and just be like to the bird, please, can I make you a fish? Just one more time, please. And then she will wait for Finch to respond.
This large, sort of hawk-sized bird will just immediately poop on you.
What if?
I love it.
Okay.
Fake creature. What do you even eat?
Yeah, I get that.
It's a fake creature. It makes it for this purpose.
I'm gonna get out the map of the smuggling tunnels, and I'm going to show it to Asana. And if anyone wants to join, you'd be most welcome. And just be like, these smuggling tunnels existed in our time. Do we think this could in some way, like if we knew if some of these existed still or anything like that, would this help us? Would this give us an edge, a path to sneak in somewhere?
I don't mean to be the bearer of weird and strange, possibly bad news, but the last time that we went underground, there were tunnels that existed that shouldn't have existed, and and things that should have existed weren't how they were supposed to be. So I don't know if there's going to be, I mean, maybe, but I'm also a little worried about what else might be down there, being that the last time we went, look what happened to us.
As Dent says that, Minnow, you recall fleeing down the caves, trying to get away from the echoing cries of having just watched a much more naive Nero having just punched the hell out of an Eldritch Abomination, like 1 billion times in 4 seconds. And you suddenly remember that some of the tunnels were wrong, and you a little bit in the back of your mind, you realize that some of the tunnels and some of the walls of stone seemed sort of overly smooth, or like you had seen them and they seemed a little odd. And now, as you think about it, you realize they look very similar to this concrete that the buildings here are made of, but just in patches of it.
Yeah. Dent, when you point out that some of the tunnels were wrong or like not on the map, some of the tunnels were maybe, you know how time is just all fucked up around what we've been dealing with? So I'm sorry.
Just like Buck theory?
Fuck theory. I know. I'm reading that too. It made me laugh. Okay. Then the material, and I'm like, assuming there's concrete somewhere that I can point to through a window or whatever.
You're in a warehouse district. There's plenty.
Yeah, plenty of concrete. It's this stuff, right? In those places where tunnels existed where they shouldn't have. I think the tunnel systems were messed up because of all of the time things. So either there's the dog. Oh, what a love. Maybe those tunnels would still exist. There's probably someone walking a dog outside. How dare they? How dare they? Yeah. So, do you think those, like, oh my God, I can hear her getting so upset, and it's like it's just someone walking a dog. Okay. Do we think that those tunnels would still exist? Do we think that it's like only when time is being like actively fucked with that the tunnels exist, or was the tunnel weirdness like always there? Could we find the same tunnels? I don't know. Any thoughts? I mean, probably can't just find the same tunnels. They can't always exist, right?
I did not personally see this when I was there, but some of the reports that we have seen, I mentioned when it stops raining, things that should not be there sometimes appear. I have heard rumors that sometimes underground has these effects as well. That rock appears in the sewers, or there's a wall where there shouldn't be. So far, none of them have remained after the distortions. And you could speak more about it with Wise Man, but according to and you're gonna see Asana like stop, like according to her, not used to doing that, but the point at which the changes become more permanent will probably be very bad. That probably suggests a level of reality breaking that will be hard to come back from.
Do we think, okay, reality breaking, we know that it makes these crackle noises, this like lightning-y static noise. But what's going on when in our time we had the rain, the noises of the cars, we could hear that. But we didn't hear static or thunder or lightning noises, right? Alongside that, we heard rainfall, we heard the whooshing. Now that we know it's whooshing of cars essentially overhead. Cat cam.
Cat cam.
So, it's not necessarily like a one-to-one, right? Like we break reality in Moontree City time and Moontree Isle time gets cars whizzing. It's not that necessarily, right? So then what is causing those periods of time to happen in Moontree Isle? And are they happening here and we just don't know what stimuli to look for? Because it would be like, I heard the swishing of a tree, because there's not cars flying overhead and there's not rain from our era, right? Like this era has rain and cars. Our era has carts and horses. Like, how would we even know that it was happening?
But every time that I know of here, and perhaps this is not all of them, but it has stopped raining in the area. And that has been one of the main signs. It never stops raining, except for when those occur. Wise Men will also be better at explaining this than I am, but there are two things happening. The cracking noise is when when entities overlap in a way that they shouldn't be able to if time had remained normal. The displacement of things, that seems to be something else, and I think that is what Wise Man is most worried about, because she mentioned to you they were able to produce the whole things cracking and breaking with their experiments. Her group could, but they never made a forest appear instantaneously, temporarily not being actually physically there, just sort of looking like it was or disappearing immediately afterwards. Something else is happening. Something else is causing that, and it's not good.
It does kind of feel like a very similar thing, right? Like, and now I'm just kind of like chasing this, both Elise and Minnow, so we can move on, because God knows my brain will never let these kinds of things go. But like, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like the crackling of two time periods existing in the same moment when they can't exist in the same moment shatters reality, breaks reality. And what we experienced on Moontree Isle and what's happening here when it's not raining is two time periods swapping or coexisting or mingling in a way where they shouldn't, where there were tunnels that we walked through where half the tunnel was this concrete stuff and half of it was natural cave or whatever from our time. And it's just, it seems like the same or very similar related phenomenon.
I agree. It could be worth speaking to Wise Man about. It is just not, it is not my specialty.
Yeah, mine either. Let's shoot more guns.
Okay. And Asana will go and begin.
Oh, thank God.
Continue to teach you how to.
Also, the stun baton. I'm gonna just pull it out.
I heard gun baton, and I was like, "Did you create a new weapon?"
Final Fantasy VIII, motherfuckers.
Yes. Like duct tape a gun to the top of the stun baton and be like, "It's a gun baton."
I like that you duct tape the gun to the baton, thus
Not the
fully matching the ludicrousness that is a gun blade.
You know how like those grippy claws for people so they can reach things up high, or whatever, like to like reach things without having to like reach.
This is a grippy baton,
it's like
so you
that.
can shoot
it's the
people
baton,
far away.
yeah, with the gun. like a selfie stick.
I can't
This
get
has
that
gotten
can of
very,
pee.
very
This
not
can
pleasant.
of peas. Blam. Speaking of duct taping
Not
batons to guns or guns to batons, I think that that Ressa was going to repair Dent's greatsword.
Yep, I was. I will take some time on it, and I want to make it really nice. Not just the plain sword, but maybe put some pattern work into it that I think that would like.
Yeah, and so essentially using your let's call of the forge, whichever it is, your ability, you're able to craft an item as long as you have the value of that item in metal. It's a non-magical greatsword, and you have all of it. You can toss an extra coin or two onto it to sort of supplement that if you need to. But yeah, essentially you're able to take the sword, leave it in same balance, same feel and everything. But the blade is now the sort of damascened pattern of steel that Dent has. And then the crossguard is sort of a deep black with gold patterns running through it. Inset into which is a sort of small golden orb that looks rather like Ed, etc. And so yeah, you'll give him that back. As you're sorry, I'm just seeing Lisa's comment.
I'm forever GM rude.
Yeah, I was like, I knew what I was gonna get. It's beautiful. I also legitimately had somewhere in my notes, I'm like, I really need to let Rachel talk to the tree. Not the big tree. That one didn't go as well.
Rachel needs to check in with her little tree friend.
But
Rachel.
Kind of as you were doing this, you laid out like a lot of your weapons and a lot of just sort of arms and armaments generally. You were looking at things and checking them over. You're kind of comparing the rocket sledge that you had versus the one that Dent had grabbed, and they function the same, but you do notice that there's some minor differences in your sledge. And go ahead and give me a Tinker's Tools roll on Wisdom.
Okay. So I click Wisdom rather than Tinker's Tools.
I think Tinker's Tools probably is set to query which attribute you want to use. So then just click Tinker's Tools, and then it'll ask you, and then tie it to Wisdom.
Okay. So I thought I just clicked Tinker's Tools. And nothing seems to be happening.
Sounds right.
It's not coming up with anything even to query.
Good job, roll 20.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
The roll 20.
Do you have Tinker's Tools set to a skill?
It's set to query. So that then she can pick which one it is.
Yeah.
I can see it, so I'm going to submit it and see if I can get it to go through. Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
25.
Yeah. Nice.
There.
So.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'd like to keep that roll if I can.
Absolutely.
I was clicking on my sheet, but it was coming up with the query on the other window that my sheet was covering up.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Good job. Roll 20. 25 to Tinker's Tools. You are able to pretty quickly figure out that these things, which you would kind of heard Asana refer to as rocket sledges, could be that. Like they are capable of especially your one, is capable of sort of taking on additional systems that would power it, but seeing it also gives you an idea of a thing that you could sort of fairly easily fabricate. And incidentally, Elise, I started laughing my ass off when you made your joke, because you're fairly sure that if you took a couple of the stun batons, you could add essentially their shock effect to the sledge.
I would love to do that.
I will do. Yeah. Oh, I was like, I get to do that. Cool.
No,
yeah,
no,
I
no.
will.
It just made me laugh when you were like, "Yeah, tape a gun to this." I'm like, "Well, one, that's like the best, Moontree City gunblade that you could have, but also a thing that I was doing." And so with the Tinker's Tools roll, you need to use another sort of calling of the forge, or whatever it is.
Blessing of the
Forge to manufacture essentially the pieces that you would need for that. But with that roll, you can see very clearly what they would need to be. You can have disassembled the 2 batons to do this. And yeah,
we have a stash of batons, I think.
Oh,
we
yes.
took a bunch
Yes,
of
you
them.
have been very carefully, either Ketch or Minnow has very carefully been going around like to every dead body being like, and this is mine, and this is mine.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. And ever since the nano drider, probably following it up with, and please stay dead.
Yeah.
So I will drop. Where did you
come from?
So there's now a shock sledge in your
Nice
inventory, Ressa. Essentially, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack with that weapon, you can expend a charge of it to force the creature to make a con saving throw on a failed save. They take 2d4 lightning damage and can't take reactions until the end of your next turn. You have 1 charge per long rest, but you can also repower it using spell slots.
Right.
So you have that as a fun weapon. So yeah, with this, and with me having yada yada'd the conversation with Rachel, not Rachel the player, though also the player, Rachel the player, but the tree Rachel, we come to the next day. Essentially in the mid-morning, Wise Man will come in. Through what you have all been damn sure was a wall, like this entire time, will slide back and reveal a small passage. And before we kick that off, let's go ahead and take our break a little bit early, just so we don't drop into then another conversation. We will be back in, I don't know, 10-15 minutes is our usual. With more conversations, as we've managed to skip approximately, I think, like 25% of the entire campaign duration in game so far by going over 2 days. Yeah, we'll be back in just a little bit. Manage your fluids, as Andy would say, and see you soon. Hello, everyone. We should be back. We've been talking about food a lot because I'm eating some of my birthday cake, my red velvet birthday cake that Lena made me, and Elise has cherries. And we were talking about how much we love red velvet cake.
Ooh. I'm eating mac and cheese.
I'm eating waffles.
Nice.
I ate a
did you
falafel
like your
wrap with
cookies?
pickles.
Yes, they're very good. Thank you for sending those along. Sorry, I forgot to message you about those.
You're welcome.
Wait, so now Rachel answers to Sam, but carries Rachel in her pocket as Nero, and speaks for the penguin.
And Rachel and Sam are fused.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of layers.
Like an onion.
Yes.
Or a cake.
Or an onion.
Like a parfait? Everybody loves parfaits.
So before the
Welcome
break,
back to Tier.
welcome back to Tier, the cooking hour. We before the break, we had me as the DM be like, "Yeah, we're gonna skip ahead a couple days." I mean, to be fair, on average, 2 days takes us like 3 sessions. So half a session, very good, well within band. I had 2 game plans for this. One was that the 2-day skip was going to take about half the session. The other was it would go very quickly. I honestly leaned towards the one we went with. In that time, in no particular order, we discovered that Eliza, the Nanodrider, currently living in Ketch's arm/body, is still asleep. Dent fished up a question mark, possibly to be dealt with by the amazing wonder duo of Ketch and Zigzag. Nero has done a lot of internet searches on morality, some portion of which are now sort of appearing in Minnow's HUD, principally the ones that involve the words burning or purifying.
So he's getting a lot of ads for ointments and creams.
It is also occasionally distracting because Minnow will be having a conversation and then something like, how much burning helps purify an evildoer, just sort of in the HUD. And Minnow's like, maybe I should have a conversation with Nero. Nero also walked around shirtless for most of the day because he was adding on a stretch pocket to allow Jebediah and Rachel the tree, to more efficiently cohabit in his pocket. Minnow was learning how to shoot a gun, being generally suspicious, and wondering why Nero kept making these searches as he wandered around to build an expando pocket for the tree and the lizard, questioning
Nero,
if he was good.
Like, come and ask all of us individually different things over the course of the couple days. Just for the record, we don't necessarily have to do anything with this. Minnow would earnestly and honestly try to engage with Nero and like talk through some of those, like, I have no idea like where it would go, what would happen. Probably a whole lot of spinning wheels and talking in circles, but Minnow would try her very best to like just help Nero talk things out a little.
Thank you.
I'd like to say, sort of by DM fiat, you have like one pass of one of those conversations, and like you're trying to be really supportive. You're trying to work through. It does, involve some loops of the same sort of, logic path, and then Nero leaves, and you immediately start getting lots of pings in your heads-up display of Nero's search history of like, so if my friend says I'm a good person. But how much fire purification can I do while still falling within the bounds of that?
Does killing make you evil no matter what? Do I need to rethink all of these things? Can I purify myself with fire more? And then I delete that because I'm too scared.
All of these start with Dear Internet.
And all of them start with Dear Internet.
And with Love, Nero.
And all are marked as from Moss Giant 69. Minnow also had some suppositions around would the tunnels that you knew of underneath Moontree Isle be useful in Moontree City. Asana seemed to suggest that they wouldn't be as useful necessarily because there are like sewage systems underneath the ground at this point. However, there was also a bit of a conversation around some of the things that you had seen both on Moontree Isle and here of displaced objects in time, why those aren't producing the sort of crackling noises that you're hearing. Could this be happening more and you don't realize it here because back on Moontree Isle, there was sudden torrential downpour, cars, towers, how would you notice that here? And Asana did point out the fact that it makes the rain stop here is kind of the biggest sign. But it would be possible if theoretically it was raining on Moontree Isle when this happened. And Ressa had a very good question for Eliza, who unfortunately is still asleep somewhere in Ketch. And also repaired and upgraded, at least aesthetically, Dense Greatsword. And also has put a significant upgrade to what is now the Shock Sledge, which is capable of stunning people that it hits. So, with you having actually had sort of your first couple of quiet days, or at least full quiet day and kind of a half day, your first, let me put it this way, it's the first time I think you've gone into a long rest with everyone at full HP, assuming that Ketch cut his finger in an attempt to see if the nanites would heal him the first evening. The next morning, you've sort of eaten. Minnow is continuing to practice gunplay with Asana, who is much more focused on things like aim at that and shoot that. And Minnow is occasionally like, well, but how can I pull it out from under my cloak really, really quickly and shoot them before anybody sees me? And Asana's like, that's a good way to get shot. Like, you shoot yourself. Let's just maybe focus on the bullet going where we want it to. Nero is trying out the new sort of duplex pocket, making sure how that's working. Everyone else is kind of around. And Asana essentially is going to let you know that Wise Man is on the way. But I believe that Ketch, there had been something you'd wanted to do because Dent had told you about the thing you fished up. You shot a message over to Zigzag, purveyor of all things cryptid and cryptid ethics related. And he's gonna message back again very quickly. You're pretty sure that like his heads up display would consists of the equivalent of like his DM's channel and like the Moontree City equivalent of Google Analytics for his pages. That's it.
Figures.
It's like, oh, yeah, that it's Zigzag. by the way.
No,
You just messaged
don't.
me with a really interesting sort of content opportunity, and yeah, the thing that you saw, it's very exciting. I believe is called a beholder fish.
No.
No.
Yeah, they're you know, very fascinating creatures. We've heard rumors about them for a long time. I've only heard of them though in very sort of secluded like mountain pools. It's really impressive that you were able to get one. Did you think that you were going to be maybe contributing in like an ethics article around this, or is this more of like a sighting and bestiary type article more?
Before I respond, I would ask Dent if he managed to catch grab a photograph of this thing. Like when he looks at things, does your visual cortex like snap shots, or would you had to have been like, oh, I should take a photo of this? Like I had to actually be like, I wanted a photo of that Drider.
He needs to take a photo of it.
Okay.
It's built in sort of through the data port systems, but he does need to want to do that.
And I'm assuming Dent would not have taken a photo of it. Okay, cool. Cool. So then I will just respond back to Zigzag that still working out the details. Hadn't heard of this type of creature before. Gonna do a little more research, and then I will get back to you on a submission.
Sure, that sounds great. Just if you maybe have a first draft sort of idea before you go do more research, which I'm assuming is going to involve you maybe being near it. You might want to send me the first draft first, just so you know, in case I don't know what's the word, disintegration is a factor. You know, you might just
Are we emailing, or are we like instant messaging each other?
It's DMs, but with him it's basically instantaneous. Like,
okay, so does he's
the type of DMer where like he is firing off lots of shorter messages.
That's where I was going. So when he would be like, you know, you might want to send off the like the rough draft just in case, I will just be like, I am not going to die.
No,
yet.
No, absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't want to like, you know, no. Looking forward to long-term contributions in the fields of both cryptids and cryptid ethics, but just if you're going to do, if when you say research, you mean getting near the thing, it might be good if just, you know, even just a rough outline. Doesn't have to be a draft, just like a rough outline.
Wait, what would happen if we got near it? My companion held it.
Zigzag is a wimp.
What now?
My traveling companion held it. He was fishing and caught it. And then when he was unsure what it was, he released it back.
You see the like little ... of like typing, and then it'll stop. ... of type, and then it stops. Yeah. So just sorry, hit enter too quick on that one. So a couple of quick questions about your companion. One, do they still have the same number of limbs as when they went fishing?
Yes.
Cool. Second, are they actually the same entity as when they went fishing? Like it's not, you know, sort of a replacement situation? Are they talking a lot about, you know, the ultimate demise of, you know, mortal kind?
Sorry now? Like, that would be the only way I could tell if they were a different entity, is that they were rambling on about the demise of everything.
There's just, there's not a lot of reports about beholderfish. Outside of some sort of second-hand accounts, not really of the fish, more of the small piles of ash left sitting places. And then occasionally stories about people behaving very differently, having gone fishing. And then there's just the whole sort of like, death to mortals thing.
As Ketch is reading all of this, it's they now, will like glance over at Dent and just kind of give a couple of one-overs. And then
You're gonna see Dent just prestidigitating, cleaning himself.
Yeah, and then I'll respond. Yeah, no, he's still the same. It's fine.
Well, outstanding then. Sure, if you want to get some more research done, that would be wonderful. Maybe some, video, audio documentation. And remember, just not a big thing, but just like even just a couple of quick sort of bullet point notes of what you were thinking for that article real soon here. That'd be great.
So basically, he's afraid that Ketch is going to die and wants the article first.
Or he is so hard up for somebody else to contribute to his sites that he is just grasping at anything he can get. That's the one I'm going with.
I was like, you all assume that it needs to be one or the other.
As a player, I so want to go looking for beholder fish now.
I know. Before I sign off, I'll let him know that I've got a couple of ideas going. What are your thoughts on nanodriders? Gotta head out now. XOXO Fuzzy Balls 101, and then I'm like, I'll be like appear offline or whatever.
Okay. Very good. And shortly after you complete this exchange and watch Dent continuing to sort of very meticulously prestidigitation, cleaning both his armor and now moving on to the great sword, which looks very much like the Damascene of his armor, the wall. That, or a thing you could have sworn was just a wall. Part of it will slide aside, and Wise Man will sort of walk in and sort of nod at everyone. Hello. How is everyone doing?
Rested. I'm feeling much more rested.
That's good. It's been a lot recently, I imagine.
It sure has.
So, I wanted to. I had offered before to help you with anything I could in terms of planning, any resources that I have access to or Paragon has access to. I don't know. It has been, at our best estimate, I would say we have we have 22 days before the opportunity that we have to access the time travel facility will pass us by for a while. If there are things that you wish to accomplish here in that time, I am happy to help you with those, though I ask you to remember that everything we are doing is extremely dangerous and will probably make very powerful people very unhappy. Also, if you had other questions, our conversation got a little bit cut short by... And she goes to sort of motion at the ceiling and then kind of pauses and like motions at Ketch's arm. Like, oh, how's the hitchhiker going, by the way? To you, Ketch. How's that working?
How's that? hitchhiker? I mean, like, she's asleep. So peaceful, I guess.
That's good.
I haven't grown any additional limbs yet.
Was that the hoped for outcome or not?
I mean, who couldn't use an extra arm? Am I right?
Looking like a true power bottom.
I'll take your word for it.
Did we already ask her about the Bessie boys?
Well, because Ketch is definitely going to be wanting to go that way too. Be nice to have this spider
cake
chick
away.
awake.
No, you would not.
I would probably then say something like, Ketch, were you thinking about trying to find Bessie's sons?
Yeah, you mean the one that Minnow shot at?
Listen. I've
Wait, do we know that?
Brandish the stun baton with the gun attached at the top of it. I'm like, so much better than just waving around.
So I will say, like, the last 15 minutes of your practice with Asana has been you trying to successfully fire this gun, stun baton, duct tape hybrid, and she's just, like, eventually she just sort of moved around a corner, is like, yeah, you're doing.
Okay, but Galway, you say that. But what is the game mechanic that's like that I roll a nat 20 on that's going to give me that as a proficiency for my...
So that you're not proficient with guns or stun batons, only gun batons.
Just the unholy hybrid, yes.
Listen. I don't make the rules.
Oh god, it's just a stun
breaks
gun.
She just breaks them.
Yeah.
Stretches them slightly. But
with that.
yeah, we need to find them because I mean they are here and not supposed to be as well.
The who that Minnow shot? Just as a what?
Oh,
So first I shot someone who was actually a bad person. Then I shot Ressa. And then I shot, she's okay. And then I shot someone that we thought, okay, that
We thought
they were
were
chasing us because we were being chased and we had good reason to be suspicious of everybody. And it was actually, do we know their names? Okay,
Yes.
There's this lady, Bessie Bye. She has a son, and her son has
husband.
a husband. And the son and the husband are here. Like Asana and we are here. And we promised old lady Bessie Bye that we would bring her sons back to her.
You're gonna see Wise Man just sort of look over to Sana. So you're helping her with the guns, right? So I'm just.
Oh, do you want to see? I'm getting way better, and I pull the stuff.
You're gonna see like Wise Man flatten and Asana kind of like dive over on top of her.
We've all got our trauma, but this is. I'm sorry. I will just put the stun baton down and be like, I know. I really, honest to God, don't want to shoot anybody anymore unless they are actually legitimately someone who needs to be shot. Which I just, for the record, that's Minnow. Elise hates guns, really sincerely with all of her heart. But we're now in a fantasy world where Minnow is talking about guns. So, but then here's the other problem. The thing is, like, when I shot at Bessie Boy's son, Bessie the Bessie boy. When I thought
Bessie's
Bessie
son.
boy.
we were being chased and they were following us in a car and we didn't know until after. And like
Right.
that's another thing that like all the training in the world with these guns isn't going to matter if like we can't tell who's on our side and who isn't, and like there's
No, that's. I mainly wanted to make sure that I hadn't missed an entire incident of shooting, where shooting was required. No, that it makes sense that you would have shot. Yes, that. So from what Asana has told me about that and everything that we've been able to find out, because we've been tracking, trying to discover who's been following you, what's been happening. That those vehicles that were following you appear to belong to the public guard here. They're a largely ornamental organization. Their loyalty is first and foremost to the city. But that doesn't work very well when the world is run by large private corporations who their loyalty is not to, so they're forbidden from going anywhere that the corps are interested in, which is just about everywhere. There is one figure within the guard that I personally am aware of having been investigating these sort of time anomalies. A detective, Egan Sandcott. Egan is the first name. Sandcot. He does not seem to have gotten particularly far at any point, but with the access that Paragon has to the guard archives and guard files, some of the questions that he asks stand out to me as perhaps being based in knowledge of the time that the time anomalies are coming from. A thing that I cannot imagine he could have unless he was either from your time or had access to people who were from your time. If there are people from your era who are with the guard, they're almost certainly with him. Contacting him is going to be easy enough. It's not as if the guard is especially secure. It's easy to find his information, etc. That I do not know. I cannot promise much to your point, Minnow, and your wisdom on this. I cannot promise that anything is safe, but I do know that from anything in his records and anything I've been able to find, we Paragon have been able to find, he has no love for the corpse. He wouldn't seem likely to sell you out. He, from everything that we've been able to see, largely resents the power of the corpse in the city.
Can we get in touch with him? And I kind of waggle my data pad. Is there...
I can certainly put together a very discreet back-channel sort of request for a meeting or a contact point. It should be secure. You could decide first through conversations online, though. Those will require sort of regular switching of things so as not to leave too large of a data trail, too large of a footprint. But certainly, I can see to it that the steps are taken to get you ready for that.
I think, I mean, and I kind of look at the rest of the group and say, like, I think we're pretty invested in Bessie Bai's sons, right?
We made a promise to Asana's dad and also to Bessie Bai to bring back who we could.
So we should at least try.
I mean, to be fair, I'm the only one that made the promise. So, like, if that takes away from getting the group back home, then, I mean, I don't want anyone to feel like they need to sacrifice for that.
If you made the promise, then we all made the promise.
Mm-hmm.
Does that go with everything?
Yes.
So, like, if I eat a lot of carbs, you gain all the weight.
I mean, it's hard for me to gain weight with how much exercising I do, but I do enjoy carbs, so if you want to share your carb intake with me, I will gladly carb up with you.
Nice.
Yeah, I think metaphysically, more than physically or sharing right now.
Metaphysical carbs.
Wise
Oh.
Man and Asana are just kind of like. Dellen is
Have you met Rachel?
Dellen is sort of crashed out on one of the couches, sitting there scritching Mr. Jimble's head. Your various collection of NPCs are all just looking at you like, the hell?
Well, Dellen ought to be used to it by now.
Yeah, right.
Who is Rachel? Oh, and yes, Dellen looks by far the least confused or surprised.
Rachel is the lovely plant that's in my pocket with Jebediah right now.
Well, while we're on this subject, would now be a good time to bring up what I was talking to you guys about last night, yesterday?
I think so.
Sure.
Mm.
And yeah, and then Dent would proceed to go into his whole diatribe on what happened before.
So the request that you had from the bots, the vision that came from that, and then kind of the request of destroying Foro.
Yeah, and like, I mean, Dent obviously knows that, like, it's going to be potentially very helpful to have Eliza online for any sort of like information digging for that, but obviously I think he would want to get Wiseman's input as well. So, and the whole party needs to know, so not just Ketch and Nero.
That is... It's all very interesting. Foro is arguably one of the hardest of the pillars to track down. Drakon has very defined manufacturing, distribution, all of this. Foro is opaque. Their corporate headquarters are in the northeast. And you'll recall from the map that Asana had shown you, that now that you're sort of thinking of Foro, it's located in what would be sort of around Rourke, sort of the northeast of the Kingdom of Rourke in your version of Tyr, maybe Yenshin. It's a little bit hard to tell because of the way that geography has changed a bit. But they have no obvious manufacturing centers, no distribution processes. At least that's true of their highest end work. Day-to-day mechs, personal servitors, things like that. Sure, those are obvious. Those we have factories, we know what shops sell those, but the highest level, like the mechs that came through the ceiling at us, like the sort of gestures at Ketch's arm, Nano Drider. These we know very little about how they're made, where they're made, how they're distributed anywhere. And this does not limited to Paragon. Anything that I ever saw from corporate espionage in Drakon came up empty of where they were located, how they did these things. If what you're suggesting is they are basing their designs on a corruption of you or an entity like you, that could make a great deal of sense of why much of what they do seems so different. This is troubling. This is dangerous. Anything with Foro will be dangerous. I am sure Asana has told you, but to openly act against any of these corps, any of the pillars, is essentially the same level of danger as acting openly against one of the nations in your tier. They have the resources to crush you if they notice you. Most of them are not going to care most of the time. They're not going to do much about it. The crushing will come as collateral damage, but if you, Dent, are something special in their view of the world, that ups the danger as well. Anything you do, you will either need to be very stealthy, or you will need to disguise your intent in some way, make it look like you are going for something else. Anything also of this level that would really get you any information, those systems will not have external access. They will not be connected to the net. You would need direct physical interface with them. Off the top of my head, and I can do more research on this for you because this will be tricky, but I can think of two main options. The first is there is a data relay used by Foro located within their offices here in the city. It's hard for me to say that there would be anything relevant there. Those types of terminals are often infiltrated by us, by other corps, etc., and it's never turned up anything about the type of operations that, mention copying and corrupting an ancient magitechnical being. I don't recall ever coming across those files in the past. But you are a ancient magical technical being, so you might have more luck, and one of you does have, some of their tech in you. So you might find something. The other option is a little bit more indirect. And they're going to sort of tap a couple things on a data pad, and you're going to see in all of your sort of heads-up displays a couple of files appear. We analyzed the mechs that not so much you destroyed, but that self-destructed. And some of the materials from the nanodrider. Both show some components in them that are from a different manufacturer, a known manufacturing hub in the area. That might suggest that the materials were assembled there, and that could explain why we know so little about how Foro moves their goods place to place. Maybe they assemble through contracts. Or maybe they bought the parts on a blind contract and assembled themselves somewhere else. It's hard to say. But that would be at least a different approach. You could try breaking into there, maybe disguise it as a robbery, hope that no one catches on to what you were actually looking for. The company is Moonwatcher Microsystems. They're not on Moontree proper, they're a bit to the west.
What was the name? Moonwatcher?
Microsystems.
Has any of Paragon encountered and been able to apprehend a nanodrider like the one that attacked us?
Nanodriders generally are stealth operatives. The ability to have, a random passerby on the street suddenly become a war machine is their primary benefit. We have never seen one with some of the abilities that it manifested. We have certainly never seen one that was able to regenerate itself, apparently multiple times over. So this is something else. This is something new.
And you're saying that the previous, 4.0 mechs that you have tried to hack into, they didn't have any knowledge of where they were made or anything like that, right?
We've never really been able to fully successfully hack anything above, anything near the level of what you all fought. Anytime we've encountered one and captured it, the whole data center's melting happened.
Well, it seems like we have an edge now that, you guys did not possess before, in that, we've kind of brought one out of 4.0's grasp, and it's still like sentient and with us and willing to work with us. So maybe I understand that this is a huge risk, and who knows the amount of time that it would take, but maybe it's something to look into once they're back online. Maybe we'll have more insight then into like the best way to handle this, because right now, as you've said, the one route that we have would be this Moonwatcher microsystems, but we don't even know if that's going to necessarily be the most forthcoming with information. And certainly if it's not the hub from where all of this evil corruption is originating, then I just don't know how useful it would be to try to take that, and try to break in there. I don't know. Dent's furiously scratching his metal head.
I can set up some research, at least on the viability of those two leads, and if you all are able to gain any other insights into things, then we can come back to that, certainly. Is there anything else that I can help you with, that I can explain? Our conversation got cut somewhat short with the ceiling falling in last time.
I think Dent.
Oh no, go ahead.
Just this will probably be quick. I think Dent would also want to ask about the nature of that corrupted particles that were within the nanodrider and that attacked Ed. I think Dent is also concerned that maybe that is why Eliza's offline. Possibly.
The description that you have there sounds like a control circuit rendered down and miniaturized into a nanite form. It would allow for essentially hijacking a system. If it was present in the Nanodrider but was not all of the Nanodrider. That is interesting indeed. The fact that it can interface with you is also concerning. But we can look more into this. This might be another explanation, as I said, of how 4.0 is able to do the things that they are. Minnow, did you have a question?
I mean, I have 1,000, but I don't. When we were talking last and we made this plan about going home, about getting us home, can we just sit down and make sure all of us know the plan and how to execute it and how to make it happen?
Yes.
Because if you don't make it in the next time that some nanodrider finds our hidey hole, because this is twice now that secure places have not been secure, and like, you see where I'm going with this? Like, if one piece of the puzzle is lost, everybody else still gets home if more than just you know how to get us there.
And so essentially, Wise Man's going to sort of nod and reach into her sort of voluminous sleeves and pull out a data stick, which you recognize as, Cyberpunk equivalent of a USB stick, and sort of put it on the table. I would ask you all to only interface with the data on that and leave it on there. Do not copy the files to your data port, at least yet. It is essentially if not the entirety of a plan, the recipe of a plan. Exactly what we need from each step, exactly what needs to be done at each place, and within the bounds of what I can know beforehand without actually arriving at the time machine, everything I could think of to operate that. It has been years since I have had direct access to Drakon technology. I am sure they have made changes. I am sure things will be somewhat different. Some of this I would have to figure out as we went. But that does contain the best guesses that I have, the best knowledge that I have without seeing the situation. Again, I would ask you not to copy it yet. By the time we're all setting out, perhaps we might as well, or perhaps you wait until after at least the 3 segments of the first part have succeeded. After that, if you're going to be captured, you're at the facility anyway, and honestly, Drakon's going to kill any of us that they find. So, kind of, we're already screwed at that point, so no real harm if they find that particular plan at that juncture. Up until then, there could still be bad things if they find that out prior to, if one of the subsections succeeded but then was captured, that could doom everyone. But yes, no, it's a wise precaution. Things can happen. I'd really like it if the Nanodrider stopped bursting in, that one excluded. Though probably not bursting anymore. That sounds painful for you, Ketch.
That was the only Nanodrider that burst in on us, right?
Same one every time.
Eliza, yeah.
I think. I mean,
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
Identical nanodriders, why not, right? Like, it's hard to know.
Yeah, true.
Triplets.
Did we ever
Oh,
learn anything else about that car that was following us? Do we think that the Nanodrider was just driving around in that car?
I don't think the Nanodrider was driving around in that car, but I think whoever was controlling the Nanodrider was driving the car.
Sorry, I'm just picturing
The
like
Nanodriver.
a full Nanodrider Yeah, basically in the
like Baby Driver.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the opening scene from Baby Driver.
Yep.
Like 8 sunglasses, 4 sunglasses stacked up on the eyes. Okay, another question. So, we were having thoughts about tunnels under. I don't know. Do we need? I legitimate question to the group. Do we need to pursue this? Does this matter? Tunnels and fish, and what's with the water, and why is everything mutated? And that it's very bizarre that you have this tree of life shit going on, and then meanwhile your water is spawning creatures that are trying to eat people's souls. And also, if I have this map of tunnels and I put the map on the table, is this helpful at all? Is this something that do these tunnels still exist? Is this something that like people are aware of? Are there new tunnels under this city? Is this useful?
Wise Man's gonna sort of like reach down, like slide her mask up slightly, take a sip of like a coffee, put it back down. Okay, there's a bit to unpack there. Drakon is a heavy arms manufacturer and have produced a lot of pollution in this area. What was the fish wanting to eat your soul?
Catch?
Yeah. So, first off, Dent, you are still you, right?
Insight check on Dent.
I ask Ed, hey Ed, can you do a quick like full systems and analysis real quick? Am I me?
Sure thing, buddy. You see a
3.
little progress bar appear. You're still my buddy.
Yeah.
What are you inciting?
Deciding if Dent is Dent.
Oh my gosh.
To the best of your knowledge, it seems like Dent is Dent.
Fantastic. Okay, so, my buddy Zigzag, he says that it was a beholder fish, and that apparently nobody's held one and lived to talk about it.
That sounds batshit crazy.
What?
That just sounds batshit crazy. What? Beholder fish?
Wait, now which NPC is saying this? Because it sounds a lot like Dellen.
Oh no! That's this is Wise Man.
What?
Yeah,
Dellen is definitely just sort of like scanning the internet, increasingly alarmed by what he's finding. You sort of notice that Dellen's net sessions kind of go like, oh hey, okay, interesting, kind of wish I hadn't clicked that link. Oh god, make it stop. And then he'll just sort of like take a walk looking very pensive, or sometimes just like go and like pet Mr. Jimbles for a while and be like, there's bad things out there.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, so the fish was covered in eyeballs. That's batshit crazy.
That's a mutation.
They were all staring at me.
Well, you had yanked it out of the water, yes?
Well, I reeled it in, but it wasn't like hooked onto the line.
This is probably just attached mucus, sort of stuck on there.
You sound way too comfortable with this thought.
I'm just curious because, where in our time there were people who were made into fish and there were creatures with eyeballs, and like it's just very coincidental for it to just casually just be like, what did you say? A what? A mutate?
So imagine magic going very wrong and sort of doing bad things generally. That's
we don't have to imagine.
Good. Then this is much simpler. Drakon is doing that all day, every day, just sort of seeping that out into the land around here. That causes mutations, which make things into different versions of themselves, possibly spawning a fish that's nothing but eyes. Plus keeping people like your friend Zigzag apparently in business, writing about them and calling them things like beholder fish.
I foresee very, very bad things happening to this world.
Yes.
And this is how the Marauders became eco-terrorists. We have to bring Drakon down for the sake of the planet.
Seem like there's a lot of laws in place for corporate oversight here.
Yeah, don't you have an EPA?
I mean, the corps write the laws, so...
So no checks and balances is what I'm hearing.
That's a bad system, right? You need at least a couple different branches.
The water that we like drink come from? Because I don't want to drink that shit.
Nestle, weirdly enough.
Which is a Coca-Cola product, and they're just draining Mexico dry of any clean and drinkable water. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, we just lost a sponsor for Spire.
As if Coca-Cola was ever going to sponsor Spire. We're sponsored by what little fish things that sit on our fingers.
Beholder fish.
and Skittles.
Yeah.
Damn. Look at that face.
Oh, Jinx.
You can't
Did she
owe
owe
her
you
a
a Coke?
She owes me a Coke sponsorship.
Either that or a Coke libel suit. Oh, Jesus.
What I said was not true. They can't sue me for libel.
That is
There will
true.
be no suing. We have the best defense lawyer in. He's not a defense lawyer.
Right, it will work it out. This totally all happened in Missouri too, so
Yeah,
he's totally
Matt,
able to
get
do
on
it.
that.
The internet is
Write that
located in Missouri. We all know this to be true. Okay. What was the actual last piece of content that I was producing / engaging with? Because
The tunnels.
between the cat and this conversation, I'm just sort of like, and watching us upside down.
Oh well,
Sorry about that.
we got onto eco-terrorism because of the beholder fish, but then we were talking
Right,
about
we were
secret
processing-
tunnels.
Why a fish would steal your soul.
Yes.
Okay, I have rolled this back. No, too late, Matt. You don't get to know what you're litigating. Just know that you're
gotta do
litigating it.
We're going to spend life in prison if you don't get us off. Oh, God, phrasing. Jesus.
Well, it's Coca-Cola versus us. That's
Helpful quotes, go! Helpful quotes, someone.
And it needs to. And just as a request, the helpful quotes entry needs to include the "oh Jesus" phrasing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep, helpful goat versus Coca-Cola. We're going to be represented by Matt. Weirdly sponsored by Goldfish, which isn't even a separate brand. Okay, anywho.
Oh shit.
Okay. Wise Man's going to sort of look over the map that you have. Like, it's intriguing. Many of these seem to and she'll sort of pause and tap a data pad and project a hologram sort of over your map. And you can see the sort of differences in the geography between Moontree City and Moontree Isle, and some of the disparities. At our best approximation, it looks like many of the tunnels that you're highlighting serve as sewer conduits now. So
what's that?
So you used to throw all of your human waste just into the street? We put that in pipes under the ground.
We prestidigitated away.
Yep,
Everybody just has somebody who can do
that's definitely what happens
nearby.
in the low magic setting of tier.
I say that with a completely straight face. I will make a deception check if you want. Let's go. Minnow is in it to win it.
Sure. Attempt to deceive wise man around this.
Will.
I love that this is like the first deception check that you've made in a long ass time.
Yeah.
20.
Not natural 20.
An unnatural 20 to go along with the beholder fish.
Natural
20. You'll see wise men sort of stop. Huh, that's interesting. Well, our system is perhaps a little lower effort, more of a ongoing architecture, less magical nepotism.
That's an interesting word for it.
Magical nepotism.
Based on knowing someone who can prestidigitate it? Or is this a paid professional service?
It's paid. It's a public service. You can yeah, it's tax dollars. Yeah.
Otherwise, people just do it for fertilization purposes.
This also makes sense.
That's what I do with my waste. I save it sometimes until I get back to a place that I can fertilize.
That explains a lot.
We just have a box of parchment paper.
That's what you do with the bookbinding scraps. Wise man is like, okay. Asana is, I will say, Asana and Dellen are like sort of from the assembly. Just... When Dellen sees you do that sort of stuff. Yes.
Good job, Dellen.
Oh, Dellen.
So it appears that some of these tunnels may have persisted structurally because that's probably why they would have followed them, but we certainly could. I suppose we could try to see if it would give us access to anywhere. The most interesting ones would be, and she'll sort of like circle the northeastern portion of the island around where the tree is. Like perhaps
Another firework just happened.
Good God!
Sorry.
The 9th.
Yeah. 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 I hate it. Still going.
These would be perhaps most interesting. I might be able to have Paragon Operative see if we can access any of these tunnels, because the area around the Moontree is much more controlled and restricted. So access there could be quite valuable.
What?
What? Oh, Jesus.
I'm so sorry. I just didn't hear what you said.
Totally fine. It was just the long silence. Everyone kind of like fucking Hollywood squares, like looking around like Brady Bunch introing, like, and then you just like look at like long pause, direct sort of eye contact with the camera. What?
Oh, Jesus. That's good.
So, I'm not going to try to reenact the role play lines from this, but essentially, Wise Man's comment was, it looks like the sewer tunnels, a lot of them may have followed these so that they were persistent sort of geological features. But the ones that she's most interested in there are a couple that are marked more up by where the Moontree is in the northeast. And that is a much more difficult to access area. It's much more controlled. So that she will maybe have a couple of sort of Paragon agents see if there are still tunnels anywhere that's readily accessible, that they don't get, immediately murdered for going near.
Okay, thank you for recapping that for me. I appreciate it.
I did almost just say what again, but it's like
Deep breathing. We're okay.
Someone needs to scream quiet.
I would just say that I don't know much about all of the things we need to do. All this technology is a lot. Sneaking around isn't really I'm not much of a planner. But I do think that we already have a sauna, and our number one priority should be to get the boys. I don't know how others feel, but
seems like they would be the most straightforward thing to do. Like it seems like the plan for how to at least start to reach out to them is already there. So, maybe if we do that fast enough, we can circle back and see if we have time to go spelunking or foro shooting. I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel right to go back without at least reaching out to her sons.
Yes, as I said, that one is relatively straightforward. Later today, I can have the sort of required communications protocols on a data pad for you so that you could reach out and not be traced. And that should let you reach out to Detective Sandcott.
Me to reach out to them?
I was somewhat assuming that perhaps Minnow or Asana would handle that portion of it at first.
Okay. I'm happy to help if I can.
I'll have you read the email before I send it.
I do like reading.
And I was like, I know.
I've been reading what you've been reading.
But it's just, and she'll sort of run like if it seems to me that it is important to you to give those who are from your time an opportunity to go home along with you. That makes sense to me. I think it speaks well of you, and it also would make sense to start by reaching out to this detective, and if these Bessie Buy's sons are with him, that should be relatively straightforward. As much as I would not divulge large parts of our plan yet, if they are interested in returning to their time, we can relatively safely get them for the part of it that involves going home for you all. I am not going to tell you not to pursue an attack on Foro. I just caution you that it will be very risky. It could have great benefits, especially if this corruption, this basing their technology off of you, Dent, or something like you, that would allow us to strike at them even after you're gone. That information could be devastating for us to be able to use against them. So if what you want is to bring them down, it may not have to be you it may not be able to be you directly, but it certainly could be possible. I will take care of things. Like I said, I will research some. If you are able to speak to the Nanodrider and see if it has any insight into Voro's systems, their manufacturing, etc., that will be good, or just an idea of how to attack. That could be helpful and could influence our planning.
Yeah, I will definitely try to speak to her, not an it.
Her.
And her name's Eliza.
Oh,
but she's like really
less...
exhausted, as you can imagine. She did have to fight us 3 times and then lost her body and came inside of mine.
Ooh, phrasing.
Yeah, 100%.
Night's stream is just off the charts.
But yeah, sure, as soon as she wakes up, I'll talk to her.
As you sort of finished that sentence in your head, you hear? Like, that was a good nap. That was a good nap. We needed that. So, yeah, still in here, huh? Yep, still in here. Hello? Can you hear me? Etch?
Can I hear her?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, you're awake!
Oh, hey. Yeah, how long has it been?
Roughly
Hell of a headache.
48 or 50-ish hours.
Okay. Okay. That's not too bad.
How are you feeling? Can you talk? Can you answer questions? Do you need like a glass of water?
I don't know how a glass of water would work for us.
Wait, hold up. You're using plural pronouns. Are you more than one Drider?
No. We're still weak. Awake, but weak. Yeah, I can answer a few questions, and then I have a question of my own, and then I'll probably need to go dormant again for a little bit. But I can answer at least a few questions. Yes, it is not that we're more than one Drider. A Nanodrider is a fusion of nanites and a host.
So, am I now the host?
Yes, though you won't turn into a Nanodrider. Unless you want us to turn you into a Nanodrider. It's not pleasant.
Like it hurts?
Yeah. It sort of leaves
Okay,
you...
yeah, so we'll put a pin in that. Speaking of pins, like now that you're awake and when you aren't asleep and such, can you heal me?
That will have more to do with my question. So.
Oh, okay. Wait. Hold up. Most importantly, we're dying to know, how were you able to find us every time?
Whenever we bit you, we injected some nanites. We just followed those.
Wait, when did you bite me?
I think any of us during combat, right?
You sort of feel your arm almost like involuntarily twitch. Not quite like the level when you like hit your funny bone, but like if your hand just like twitches a little bit, and it sort of twitches towards Dylan. We bit that one a lot.
Oh.
Poor Dylan.
So if you bit us, any of us, we now have nanites in us.
They expire after a couple of days.
Oh, okay, cool. So then I will wait to tell Dylan that he was a human tracking device. Cool. Okay. So what's your question?
High-strung, so yeah. So
yeah, he is just a wee bit.
We are a hybrid entity. We are nanites and a host. In this case,
We lost Rachel.
We 100% lost Rachel.
Where's Rachel?
on.
Huh?
well, rolling along. Concerning.
Oh.
Oh, she says she closed Discord accidentally and it won't
And it
reopen.
won't open.
Oh my gosh.
Tech gremlins.
Well, I will keep rolling with this conversation to the have. Oh no! Chris has cheated to the side to be in Chris's frame on the overlay.
Oh, I'm dead now.
Hey, welcome back.
I accidentally.
And I'm so dreamy. Sorry.
And I have multiple people, so
I closed Discord and it wouldn't reopen, and so I had to go into the task manager and end the Discord
Nice.
task.
Always
So,
good.
back now.
oh my goodness.
So we are a hybrid entity. We were the nanites and the girl, the mortal form that you saw. That, and then something else was overlaid onto us. Another type of nanite. It gave them control, as well as the ability to heal and regenerate in service of answering the demand to find you and hunt you, and the ability to track you. I don't remember much about the process of those things being... Sorry, we don't remember much about the process of those things being added to us, but they enhanced our abilities. They had their own abilities, but they were less flexible. And as you're watching Catch, one of like the hairs in the fur on your arm will just sort of like turn into a loop and then sort of re-straighten back out. We are able to alter our form easily. They were not, but they gave them control of us and enhanced our abilities. So This is very relevant to our question for you. Before they controlled us, there's something, some basic structure, some basic goal that is a part of us, part of the nanites of us. It gives us access to functions, but only if they're shaped by joining with a host. The shape of that focus is set by the host. I don't... something is wrong. I do not have access to everything that I should. It may be due to the lingering effects of the control. It may be due to something else that was done. I only know the general form of the choice. Augmentation or collaboration? Don't. We are sorry that we do not know more about what this entails.
Okay, so all of you are gonna see Ketch basically scratching his head because I am very confused. I mean, like, was it that like corruption stuff that you pulled out of your like dent and yourself? Is that the stuff that you that caused?
Yes.
What now?
We are not. We are not originally a creation of Foro. We were made... We cannot remember. We were made for something else, for another purpose, to help, to help our hosts, to be an entity with our hosts. But Foro took us and introduced that corruption that overrode, made their goals our goals. Inescapable, ever-present, requiring us to continue to reform ourselves after destruction in pursuit of that goal.
Do you know where Foro took you from?
We have only scraps and fragments. The Union of Governments, AstraCorp, Foro, Project Access? We were made for something, an experiment.
Okay. Okay, I can tell that you're needing to kind of shut down again. Do you have any other questions or anything you need to kind of like discuss or share at the moment?
The shape of the choice, the to augment collaborate. That
So are you saying I need to decide? I need to make a choice?
it does not have to be now, but it is your choice.
Okay.
Not
okay,
ours.
cool. So like augment would be like to turn me into a drider.
No, that was
No?
that was more of a 4-0 thing, turning.
Oh, okay, sweet. So like what do you mean by augment?
We are not sure fully. To boost your abilities, to possibly heal, we are unsure.
Okay, what do you mean by collaborate?
To operate alongside you as a partner.
Okay, so that kind of sounds like the little guy that lives inside of Dent. Okay, I'm gonna think on that. But I have one last question for you, and then you can go take a very long nap again. We are trying to figure out a way to get back to our time. We are not from here. Can I go back to my time with you inside me? Do you know?
We feel that's a big question for a very sleepy nano entity. We will consider the ramifications of this while we sleep.
Fair. And I will consider the other part while you sleep.
Good.
All right. Go take a nap. I'll be here. And then you guys will see Catch be like, what the hell did I get myself into? Very cool stuff, guys. Very cool stuff. Eliza was awake, and then Eliza's back asleep. But I got an answer to your question, Ressa.
Oh, good. I want to hear.
Yeah. And I'm going to point at Dylan. Human tracking device.
What did I do?
You got bit a lot.
I did get bit a lot. It hurt.
Yeah. Apparently, every time she injured one of us, her nanites went into us and she tracked us that way.
So
Yeah.
do we all still have her nanites in us?
No, she said they'd like die off after a couple of days, so you probably pooped them out. It's good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, should I be careful about fertilizing my plants with that specific?
I think that the poop here is just going to the sewer.
Prestidigitation it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, like, as Dylan has been sitting and like now sort of nervously petting Mr. Jimbles at the like, oh yeah, human tracking device, nanites in you, you're gonna see Mr. Jimbles just sort of like do the cat scooching away thing. Like it's just gonna sort of adjust his bowler hat, hop down, walk away.
Ben's gonna go over to Catch and like he's gonna like start unscrewing his pinky and he's gonna be like, so do you wanna go fishing? Get another beholder fish and find out for real.
Hell yes, I want to go fishing because I need to talk to you.
Don't we need to still decide what we're doing?
What else
Catch
did
and I are going
Eliza
fishing.
say?
We just did.
All right. We won't have time for 4-0 then.
I would have relayed the stuff about Foro having taken the nanites. I would not have mentioned anything about the collaboration or augmentation yet, or about the traveling back in time. But the other...
Like the Union of Governments, AstraCorps.
Yeah, like I would have mentioned all of that. I just would not have talked about the basically what's what my choice has to be kind of thing yet, because I need to figure all that out.
Yeah. Does any of that mean anything? Project, what was it? Was it Project Axis?
Access.
Project
Axis.
Axis.
Like
Or
AXI
access.
or Access?
Lena said Axis, as in the Y.
AXIS.
Axis.
AXIS. Okay. Yeah, to Wiseman, does that mean anything to you?
There have been whispers of the edges of something, some massive collaboration between some of the corps. It was...
Sorry, big spider.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Kill it! Squish it! Squish it!
No, it's Eliza.
a lot.
No, don't release it outside. It's your friend.
Fast. Get it, Buttercup, get it!
Get a cup.
Oh, I don't even have shoes on. It's awful.
Oh no.
It's blending into the rug.
This is turned into a horror stream.
Sorry, Heather.
Okay, continue. I'm just gonna try to
Good.
find it. There it is. Okay. Sorry, I hate spiders.
Oh,
So
sorry.
visceral. I'm very sorry.
I won't be taking any more notes tonight.
I also...
Oh. Did you use your notebook to kill it?
Yeah.
Your notebook needs to be burned.
Oh dear.
Oh god, thank God for cats that like try to chase things and. Sorry.
No. You're totally fine. I'm glad that situation was able to be resolved. What was... Oh, there have been whispers of a collaboration between some of the pillars. Such a thing is almost unheard of, but it happened after I left Drakon. So I do not know if Drakon is involved. I do not know the shape or the scope of it or its goal. This is certainly news to me.
Do we have people in Paragon who are in other or representatives of other courts?
Other locations especially have contained more people who are specialists in the other pillars. Given that this is Drakon's base, many of our operatives here are mostly concerned with
Can we
Drakon.
message or something and see if anybody from
Yes.
an area where Union of Governments Astracore 40 would know
I will
about Project Axis?
I will request that anything that they've seen, and especially around those specific terms, those specific other pillars, etc., there may be at least a shape that we can start to make out, even if we cannot find direct records. So I will get the data pad that will allow you to communicate with the detective over sometime later today. I think you can act on that as soon as you can. I will continue to do research to see about getting you all an access point to 4.0 and also find out more about this Project Axis. And if Eliza has any other information, you can let me know if it leads to a vulnerability or other sort of thing we can do. Stay safe.
Thanks, Wiseman.
She'll sort of look at Dent. Maybe not too much fishing.
After she leaves, I might look around and be like, speaking of not too much fishing, before you fish, can we have a little family meeting, a little group powwow, because we got to make a decision. And I feel like I might have a different answer than some of you, but we can't do these things alone. Is that okay? Can we do that? Can we talk? So getting home, getting Bessie Buy's boys home, getting Asana home, that's what I see as priority 0. There's no higher priority than that for me. 4.0 and Project Axis and understanding this stuff, like, is this our fight? Because I don't know. And it's hard to say because the things that were happening at home were so confusing and so big and obviously so connected to this time that I don't know, and it confuses me. But part of me wants to leave this fight to people like Wiseman. This is her fight. This is her era, and get ourselves back to where we belong and fight our fight. I
think
don't
part
know.
of the complicating factor there is that their fight impacts our fight, because if the two times continue to overlap, then there's no way to separate them.
I agree. We don't know what the connections are, but we chase one rabbit hole and we find ourselves in a warren, and how long do we chase those rabbits here thinking that we're going to be fighting their fight because it's our fight, and then we're 60 years old and we go home and we've missed our lives there.
Oh, here's my question. So I agree that our top priorities are Asana and the Sons.
And getting ourselves home.
That, but also I feel like our top, one of our other priorities, the second priority, should be not, I don't know how exactly to do this, but not letting this happen again. If we don't stop whatever time thing is happening, there's just going to take more people from our time. And I feel like you're correct, we don't necessarily have a responsibility to this time, but we have a responsibility to our own time. And if we couldn't stop so that nobody else disappears, I think that would be my hope.
I agree. And I just want to say on that point, and I know there's more people to hear out here, that we don't know that chasing down leads at 4.0 or chasing down Project Axis, the Nanodrider stuff. We don't know what's going to get answers or what's causing or create. And so that's the other piece of that question. I'm sorry, I'll defer to others.
My assumption was Draco, or not, whatever the other Dragon Corp is. Drakon, thank you. Because it was doing stuff with timey-wimey stuff, that it might be the one to look at more in depth.
I'm of two minds on this, and not just because I have Ed right here.
Need somebody?
No, it's all good. It's all good. On one hand, I feel that, I totally identify with, our number one priority needing to be getting back and getting everyone who has been taken by this weird time situation to get them back home. And I don't know how much I should read into this, but at every step along the way, as we've been doing what we've been doing, I've been learning more about myself and my creation, and I've had those visions that I still don't know if they were entirely my past or my future. But you said, Minnow, that this isn't your war. But I've seen you in it. I've seen all of us in it. I don't know if that means that we're going to be fighting it on our home turf or on this turf. Those details were foggy. But I just feel like we shouldn't just turn down opportunities to do things that are good here while we're here, while we have the time to do them.
But do we have the time?
And
We don't know.
I guess, yeah. The question for me is there, if what is on this data stick that Wiseman left us tells us that we could get back tomorrow if we just did this tomorrow. And it would take, what if, here's what worries me about that approach is that today we have 3 leads and we start tracking them down, and 3 weeks from now we have 7 leads and we start tracking those down, and 8 months from now we have 10 leads and we start tracking those down, and 5 years from now we have 20 more leads and we're tracking those down. Like, we could spend our lives fighting here because obviously there's fights to be had here. Look at the fish, look at the beholder fish.
It did a lot of looking at me.
Yeah, like these creepy corporation things, pillars that track you while you're, this data shit. There's fights to be fought here, and the more that we, like, if we think, well, if we have time for this, we'll have time to just finish this project out or see this investigation out. Then at what point, like, do we have a hard limit of saying, like, if we've been here for a month and we've done everything, there's a million things left to do, but we've been here a month, do we go home now? Is it 5 months? Is it a year?
We only have 22-day window, I think.
Yeah,
Why?
I thought we did have a hard time frame.
That's what Wiseman said. She said we have a 22-day, I think it's 22-day.
Yep.
In this window, she implied that there would be other windows, but I don't know that I want to count on that.
We have 22 days until we can even leave, right?
No.
No, we can leave within these 22 days.
Right.
Okay.
Asana would confirm that.
Okay.
Essentially because of the configuration of the machines, where things are, the platforms they're on, etc., you have a gap that you can exploit a vulnerability, but only for a chunk of time, and neither she nor Wiseman knows after that.
I think that it's important to keep in mind that a lot of us, chunk of us, yes, we want to go home, that is our goal, but you don't necessarily have something or someone to go home to. And I think it's important to keep Minnow in mind and what she is feeling, that she has a partner and a person that loves her and that she loves back home, back in our time. And I feel like maybe our sense of urgency is not the same as hers, because hers is personal in a way that ours isn't. And so it is a tough decision, and I don't necessarily know what to do, but I think it's important to keep in mind the battles that our own members are having within themselves right now in making this decision.
Super quick over the table. I thought Minnow's husband disappeared.
Minnow's partner is non-binary, and they're just at home. No, that's cool. They're just
they
home.
Disappeared in Amberheart.
In Amberheart,
but
okay.
then they were
along
back.
with everyone else, yeah.
Along with everybody else. Yeah. Yeah. I want to go home, but I don't have a specific drive I want to go home because I miss it, but my feeling is a lot less urgent than hers, I assume. And I know Ketch has a family, a big family, but I also know Ketch is resigned that something might happen to him and he might not return. And I feel it would be great to also get Ketch back to his family too.
Yeah, and Dent, I don't think our part in this fight is over. I don't want my part in this fight to be over. Whatever is happening, I'm not satisfied with an answer that says, well, we got home to our own time. We'll just ignore that something's happening. But I don't think that the only place that we're going to be fighting this fight is here. And I do agree with you that we don't know, and that sucks. But like, if when we get back to Moontree Isle, there's going to be a fight to be had there too. I think based on what we've seen, there's no reason to expect it not to be that way. And I'm just wondering, like what that trade-off is, where that yeah.
Do you think that that's the end game of this operation, to get everyone back and then fight that creature back in the cave back from our time, or do we just let that thing continue doing what it's doing?
I don't know. I mean, what if, like that thing when we got into the cave, like it wasn't right. Dellen was like, didn't recognize where we were entirely. Isn't that how it was? And what's going on with, it was, something was already messed up there. And I think we saw these more and more frequent instances of this time period and our time period collapsing on each other. And if that's happening, it's still happening until someone does something to shut it down. And if these time periods are collapsing, fighting here, fighting there, what difference does it make? It's, it's fighting the same thing. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's hard to sort out. But if we miss this window to go home because we think we have to fight here, but the fight was back there all along, or the fight's somewhere else entirely and we don't even know how to get there.
I'm not gonna say that we should just, avoid this window. I think going home while we still can is probably definitely the best thing for those of us that are trapped here and perhaps especially aren't engaging in the fight, like Bessie boys, and so on and so forth. And I imagine, Asana, you want to go home, right?
I do. I said to you all that I do wish to return home. It's harder for me because I have been alive for 19 years. 3 of them have been here. I have friends here. I have seen how the people in this tier suffer. I have seen the things that are done, and no one fights because the risks are too high. That is why I'm glad I was found by Paragon. They fight. I'm not going to lie, and I certainly have never intended to lie to you about this at any point. Paragon has to pick its fights. And even doing that, Paragon loses plenty of fights. But they try. I am not able to get myself home by myself. You all being here is an opportunity that we have not had previously. The fact that it aligns with an opportunity within the technology of Drakon, all for the best. I think reaching out to the Specibai's sons, making sure if they want to go home, is important. I think if there is something that Wise Man can find that we can do, or that Eliza could find that we could do, that might help Paragon fight Foro, and still let us get home. I don't mean being out and doing that onto the 21st day. Leave some padding, but maybe that honors, and it is different for each of us, but it also, for me, honors people who took tremendous risk to shelter me for 3 years. I do not know.
It's a good point that we also don't have to take the entire fight on ourselves. We could put things in motion with the knowledge that we've gained. We don't have to be, we're not the only soldiers. We could just help push things forward.
If you all are very capable, and if you all stayed for 2 years, I do not think we could, just by those actions, make much of a dent in any of the pillars. But if there is an opportunity to get data, malfeasance, a weakness, something like that, and could be given to Paragon for them to keep using and keep fighting with, that could make a difference here. That is all I suggest. But I also recognize, because I have been fighting them for 3 years, I recognize how dangerous they are. I do not claim that it is an easy choice. I do not even fully know what my decision on that front is. I just know where my heart sort of...
Catch? Ressa?
I think we need to go home within the window. And I agree that if there's some way that we can find to help, by finding data or a weakness, that would be great. But I want to see my family. This isn't my world. I miss home. And I'm sure there will be ways to fight from there. I just don't know what they are yet.
I feel like that closes out the session, and it's just like this immensely heavy note to go out on. Mr. Jimbles walks through, knocks something off a table.
There
you go.
Very good. Beautifully done, everybody. For everybody watching, thank you so much. Hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the combination of slapstick comedy and heavy ethical wrangling that I legitimately kind of feel is like a hallmark of the way I do things, where it's like joke, 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 lore drop. Not usually quite so heavy on the joke, joke, joke ethical wrangling of what is the appropriate morality of staying or going. But everyone did an amazing job. I hope everybody enjoyed it. You can follow us here on Twitch. Thank you to we had a follow somewhere in there. For some reason my Streamlabs is not showing a link to that correctly, but thanks for the follow. We stream multiple times every week. Coming up next week, we have Goats of Saltmarsh on Wednesday starting at 9 p.m. We have Spire on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. These times are all in Eastern. And on Friday, we will have Goats and Dragons, The Fates of Rin. I will desperately try to remember a character voice that I've been playing for 3 years, because it's been a hot minute since we've played that campaign. We'll get to see Rachel guest star as Clem for a few sessions. Yeah, it should be awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. As always, from everyone here at Helpful Goat Gaming, hope you're safe, hope you're well, be kind to yourselves and to each other. Love y'all.